What's going on, guys? It's Alex with Tech. How you doing? We are reviewing the 2018 MacBook Pro today. So about a month ago, I got this on launch day, and we unboxed it on Instagram TV. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, be sure to follow us on Instagram because we've been doing a lot of unboxing videos on Instagram TV and doing a lot of like Q&As and stuff like that. So I think it's a really cool platform for us to communicate with you guys. And I also did a YouTube video about why I purchased a 2018 $1,800 MacBook Pro, even though I understand it's not the best allocation of money. It really isn't. But yeah, it's been more than a month now with this as my main work computer. And I'm going to tell you guys everything I feel about this, no holds bar, and we're gonna dive right into this. So the first thing I noticed when opening this thing up and holding it in my hands is that if you've used any MacBook since 2016, it's pretty much the same, like build quality wise. Even the 12-inch MacBook to the MacBook Pro, there's not much difference between the build quality and the feel and design of all those laptops with this one. So, generation gaps, not really. You don't really see much of a difference. Internally, yes, there are improvements in the chipsets, in the graphics, stuff like that. Also the RAM and storage. But physically, it feels just like a 2016 Model 1. So the second thing we're going to talk about is performance. We all have read about how drastically better this year's processors are in these MacBook Pros than they were in the 7th generation one. So the 8th generation i5, I do have the base model, so I have the Core i5 model, 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, base model, $1,800. From my usage of this particular laptop in the past month, I do have to say it is noticeably faster than my previous MacBook, which was the 12-inch MacBook. Of course, totally different level. That was a Core M processor, 2016 model, base model of that. So it's a significant difference, I understand. I can't really compare it with the 2017 model because I did not personally own that model, and I didn't get to play with it on a permanent basis like I am with this. So in terms of matching it with 2017's MacBook Pro, I can't tell you how fast that is and the difference that is. But I can tell you that this is a very smooth machine. And in terms of MacBooks, this is the fastest MacBook I have used to date. And I have had a lot of Macs in my lifetime. This is my 4th MacBook, I think. And I have a Mac Pro. I have 2 iMacs. So yeah, I've had a lot of Apple laptops and computers in the past, and this is a really fast one. Obviously, it's still pretty new. It's only a month in, and once I put it through its paces even more and more updates come, it's going to slow down. That's the nature of it, but I don't think a lot of people will be disappointed. Even the pros, like I had a couple of my editors use this. I was on a film set. The weekend I got this, I was out. I didn't even get to put my D-brand on it yet. I just took it straight out there, and we had like 3 or 4 MacBooks running, and I had the newest one. And from what I needed for, it definitely surpassed all the other MacBooks we've used. So definitely a thumbs up from me in that. I wasn't disappointed at all. So I want to talk a little bit about the touch bar because this is the first time I've ever had a touch bar on my MacBook Pro as my daily driving device. And when I was going to purchase a MacBook Pro, I was thinking about getting a MacBook Pro without it. So like the 2017 one had a model without it. For some reason, Apple didn't do that this year. I think they're trying to distinguish it with their line and separating the barriers of the MacBook Pros. But I ended up with this one. And at first I thought it was just a gimmick. That's why I didn't want to get it. But the more I use it, the more I feel like it has some benefits to it. So the first thing I really like about the touch bar is volume control. So volume control, I much rather drag and drop for the volume than press. It just, I just prefer that a lot, and I naturally do that now. It's like a natural reaction. And when I switch back to like a Chromebook that I use, like the Pixelbook, it feels kind of weird that I have to click for the volume instead of drag and drop. Same thing with video control. So QuickTime and like Final Cut just using that your finger to drag to that specific part of the timeline that you want to go to saves a couple seconds. Like it's really smooth to use, and I enjoy it. So the keyboard, we have a little bit to talk about. I know a lot of you guys are thinking about the 2017 controversy. I can't really comment on that because I did not have a 2017 model. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Apple got a lot of flack from that. Yeah, I can't really make a comment on that. But what I can tell you is, from someone who just moved to this MacBook Pro from a MacBook, a 12-inch MacBook, the typing experience on this is better than the second generation butterfly keys it was the second gen butterfly keys on my MacBook, on my 12-inch MacBook. And I feel like there's a lot of negativity for Apple keyboards, and I understand that. But it's a pretty decent typing experience. I can type pretty fast on here, and I never really disliked the butterfly keys. Yeah, the typing experience I didn't have much of an issue with. I thought the typing experience on this 2018 MacBook Pro was what I was expecting. It's a little more comfortable to type on this than the 12-inch MacBook. Some of it might be because of the size of the keyboard. But yeah, until I run into a problem with it, I'm just going to say it's a decent typing experience that I have no worries about. And same thing with the trackpad. The trackpad is still the best trackpad on the market. And I've said this for a few years now, and Apple is consistently doing this every single year. Their trackpads are large, very responsive. The gestures are terrific. I just have not found a laptop out there, Windows, Chrome OS, period, that matches what Apple has done with the trackpad. And I've been saying this for a while because every year I'm trying to look for something that feels like the MacBook Pro's trackpad or MacBook trackpad, and I just haven't found it. It's still like that right now. Now there's miscellaneous things, like there's 4 USB-C ports on the MacBook Pro, just like it was on last year's Touch Bar MacBook Pro, and that's always a good thing. The more ports, the better. USB-C has been around for quite a while now too, and it's a norm. We got to get used to that. And if you still are using USB-A, you can use adapters and dongles and things like that. But it's time to convert. If you're looking for a new laptop in 2018, you should get a USB-C port regardless. Every single laptop has USB-C now. It doesn't make sense to get something that doesn't. Okay, so battery life. Battery life is tricky, right? Because I use really heavy, intensive applications on here, Final Cut. Sometimes my editing sessions last for like 5, 6, 7 hours with it on, and I use something called caffeine to keep my laptop running, because I have hard drives plugged in sometimes and external SSDs, and I don't want it to fall asleep. So yeah, my battery life usage of it is a little tricky to gauge. I've been getting probably like 7 hours, 6, 7 hours with my usage on it, 5 hours sometimes. So it hasn't been blowing me away, but at the same time, like I said, I use really heavy applications on here, so usage may vary. So as for the screen on the MacBook Pro, it's a good size, and it gives off really good colors. It's very true tone colors. Apple has always done that really well. So it's really catered towards, people who need to color, people that really see good coloring. And the MacBook Pro here this year is no different. It gives you really good display quality. But at the same time, we have to get rid of that narrative that Apple makes the best of everything. They make the best phone display, best processors, best this and that. Some of it may be true, but they definitely do not make the best of everything. For laptop screens, there are better laptop screens, in my opinion, out there for significantly less. Really, you look at the Windows space, look at the MacBook 10 or the MacBook X or whatever. Yeah, MacBook X. It's called MacBook X. Screen there, I think it's better than the MacBook Pro. And there's other things out there like the Dell Infinity screen. I think that's a better display than the MacBook Pro. Not that the MacBook Pro is a bad one. MacBook Pro is still one of the top ones on the market. And I think we need to start that narrative too. Get rid of that old narrative and get that new narrative in that Apple doesn't necessarily make the best of everything. And they're definitely not the most innovative company out there, tech company. But what they do is they're really consistent, really solid across the line. Some people have one category really high, other categories really low. Apple, they might not be the highest, but they're consistent across the line. And that is what I think Apple does a really good job in. Display, battery life, typing experience, just in general, everything is a very solid experience. And that when you're paying that $1,800, you rarely feel like it's a letdown because everything is just consistently solid. Yes, you may feel like you're not getting the best bang for your buck, but you're getting a solid experience. And I can't say that about everything we've used. Like, in conclusion, do I recommend the MacBook Pro? No, I do not recommend the MacBook Pro to the general user. If you're a college kid who literally just writes papers, this is not the MacBook for you. Heck, you shouldn't even be getting a MacBook, to be honest. It's a status symbol. I totally understand it, but there's so many good laptops out there, much significantly cheaper, that can do everything you need it to do, that look good, and you just don't need the MacBook Pro. If you're an editor, okay, so let's say, okay, we're going to this side of the story now, right? If you're an editor, a professional video editor, professional photographer, something like that in the artsy field, right? And you need something strong to edit with, this might not even be for you. The MacBook Pros are no longer like the golden flag bearers like they were when I was in school in the 2000s, early 2000s. Like back then, everybody used Final Cut Pro 7. Final Cut Pro 7 was like the thing in the industry. It's not that anymore. Like people use Adobe Premiere, DaVinci, like things on Windows work really well, and you can build a PC, a Windows PC, and you can get a really good Windows laptop for significantly less that can do basically the same thing on Premiere. But as I stated in my video, the why I bought the $1,800 MacBook Pro video, the reason I bought it is because I'm on Final Cut Pro, and it's just a preference that I felt like was worth that additional money. It's just something I've been using for a long time. I'm really adequate with my workflow, with timeline building and things like that. And time is money. So if I could save some time because I'm more comfortable on this than on Windows using Premiere, then okay, I still have Premiere. I still have Premiere on my Macs. I just don't use it. It's not my preference. If a client requests that I do for some reason, then yeah, I'll use Premiere. But most of the time, I'm on Final Cut Pro. So that's why I bought this. Do I recommend it for editors? Is it that significantly big of a difference in terms of performance on your MacBook Pro for Final Cut and, between Final Cut and Premiere? No, really, it's export time. It really is just export time. That extra speed gives you maybe a quicker export. It is a significantly better export time when compared to something like a 12-inch MacBook or a Premiere on something like a similar spec device Windows PC that I have built at my house. But is that really worth that huge of a difference in terms of money? I don't think so. I don't think export time, a lot of times when you're exporting a video, unless you're really on a deadline, I just leave it, go out, grab a bite, and come back. That's just how I do it. But I do think the preference of using an Apple MacBook because of the software outweighs the whole exporting thing that a lot of people talk about. The exporting time is important, but it's not the most important thing in my opinion. Once again, I'm Alex of Tech. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this kind of helped, because I know a lot of people, a wide range of people look at MacBooks for different reasons. And it's hard to cover that for everybody, especially since my usage of it is different from what a lot of people might be using it for. But hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight, and if it helped, I would love for you guys to let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know what laptops you guys are looking at. We would love to be looking at reviewing other laptops too. We haven't reviewed too many this year, but that might change very soon. Once again, I'll see you next time.
If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell button below so that you don't miss a single video in the future. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!